Good Friday afternoon, everybody. Um, I'm here today to talk about what's probably a humorously unpopular opinion, which is that if you feel imposter syndrome of any sort, that's actually a good thing. Now, before you lunge through the technology to throttle me, because let's be honest, and you and I both know that imposter syndrome is incredibly uncomfortable. It's incredibly painful. It can hold us back. It can just be so, like heavy and debilitating that it holds us back from doing anything. Not even, it doesn't even need to be creative stuff. We talk about imposter syndrome so much when it's related to something creative. Um, like you're releasing some kind of art, or you're creating something, or you're sharing something with the world, or making a video like this. But it doesn't need to be. It could just be like, talking to a spouse, talking to someone you have a crush on. It could be having a nerve-wracking conversation with your boss, especially asking for a raise. We feel imposter syndrome in so many different situations. And so even though it's so debilitating and that it's so heavy and painful sometimes, I want to actually make an argument and suggestion that it's positive. And here's why. Seth Godin, who is the best-selling author and marketing expert and business guy, he says it very clearly of just like, if you feel the imposter syndrome, no matter what it is that you are experiencing when you're feeling it, it means that whatever you're working on when you experience it, it's because you're doing something that's meaningful to you. It means that you're working on something that means something to you. And to make it super elementary, like super fundamental and basic, I always bring it back to that classic adage that I learned doing theater plays and like learning how to public speak when I was little. Yes, I used to do theater plays, for those of you who didn't know. Um, where if you're nervous before going on stage, it's simply because you care about what you're doing and what you're talking about. Simply, you just care about doing a good job. And so I equate feelings of the imposter syndrome to that exact same thing. We just care about doing a good job, working on something that's meaningful to us. Okay. And so after I dramatically oversimplify it like that, I want to get nerdy for a second. And so the real psychology of the imposter syndrome is we feel the nerves, we feel the anxiety, we feel the stress response and everything. And we take that to mean something about us, right? We internalize that as in, I'm incapable of doing whatever it is you're nervous about doing. And it starts to register as negative beliefs, negative self-talk. We start to overly self-criticize in like really harsh ways. But in reality, the real negative onus, that the negative meaning that we put on the feeling of imposter syndrome, is what we are afraid other people are going to think about us. We're afraid of their opinions or their judgments because we're doing something that's meaningful to us, but we are worried that someone's going to judge us or criticize us for doing something that's meaningful to us, criticize us for something that we enjoy and that we find important. And that's hard. I mean, that alone hurts a lot when somebody that alone hurts a lot when somebody judges us for something that we care a lot about. And so other people's opinions aside, because that's where the real negativity comes from, if we don't think about them for a second, we're actually just sitting there in our own thoughts and stress, right? About whatever it is we're working on, whatever it is that's causing the imposter syndrome. There are tons of examples, like I listed before. But the real psychology of it is the fact that when you feel the imposter syndrome, it means that you are doing something that's stretching you out of your comfort zone. It's stretching you, it's a new thing that you are doing that you've probably never ever even attempted before. And it's scary because it's so new. It's scary because it's you showing up differently. It's you trying a new skill. It's you stepping on stage, speaking up, whatever it is. And so because the skill is new, you who are doing that skill will be new, which means that you are going to be a new person effectively. Like, not to get too existential, but like if you're practicing a new skill, if you're doing a brand new activity, then if you're doing brand new activity, then you are going to be a new person than you were when you didn't do that thing or try that thing. And so the fact that you're stepping into this new thing, it means that that's why you feel so exposed. That's why you feel so raw and vulnerable, because you've never done this before. You've never been this version of yourself before. And it's really impressive, but that's why it's also really scary. But you should just say that makes total sense. Of course, feeling like an imposter means feeling like you're not yourself. Because when you're trying something new, especially creatively, you aren't your current self. You are the new self. You're the new person. And that should be really exciting for you, because that's a sign of growth, which means that if you feel the imposter syndrome, if you feel nerves about doing something that's meaningful to you, it means you're growing. It's evidence that you are evolving and that you're growing in whatever way that is unique and meaningful and important to you. That should be super cool. Now, because of the fact that it's still really painful, it's a really uncomfortable experience still, this is just something that you have to embrace. So this is a mindset I'm talking about, that think about the fact that it's a new you, and it's really exciting, that it means that you're growing. So when you feel the imposter syndrome come on, and you feel those nerves about doing this new thing, just know and embrace it. Well, embrace it first and know that it's a mark and it's evidence that you are growing and you're making positive progress, especially independently. Like, you're doing it, you're taking it on yourself, which is awesome, and it's so impressive. And that should continue to give you even more confidence and empowerment. And if you see it like this in the future, anytime you're trying something new, you're actually going to become better equipped to recognize, oh, I'm stressed right now just because I'm nervous. This is a new me that's about to emerge. And it's going to become a lot easier for you to push through the imposter syndrome. It doesn't matter what scale it is that you're working on or whatever it is that you're doing, it's going to get easier to push through that imposter syndrome, because you're going to recognize it, you're going to see that it's positive, see that it means you're growing, and you're going to push through. Thanks so much, everybody.